Welcome. I'm Melissa Blend, founder of Epic Love, embodied leadership teacher, somatic therapist, and psychedelic facilitator for women who were done leading from survival. Here we talk about all things nervous system regulation, somatic healing, psychedelic work, and feminine leadership. And we also talk about what it actually takes to build capacity, clarity, and safety in your body so you can lead, grow bigger wealth, and more importantly, have relationships that don't come at the cost of your health. So if you're ready to move beyond mindset work and into embodied self-leadership, you're in the right place. This month, we're talking all about why devotion is the way and discipline is outdated. This week, I talked about this in my blog, and what we talked about was the feminine actually thrives on devotion and not discipline. So if you were to think about both of those words, discipline being over here and devotion over here, more often than not, a lot of us have a negative connotation with this word discipline. It almost energetically feels like it's something that we have to do. It's a form of punishment. And so that's why a lot of us have gone in the past into the new year, guns a-blazing. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and meditate every single day. I'm going to drink the greens juice every day. I'm going to go to the gym every day. And then bang, that January push eventually breaks your natural rhythm, your rhythm in the feminine, that is. And so what does that ultimately mean? That ultimately means is that the feminine body does not necessarily follow a linear calendar. It follows your inner seasons, your cyclical wisdom. And this is a lot of the work that I do with Medicine Within, a lot of the work that I do and the Reclaim and Sacred Return body work that I do one-on-one. And so when we talk about biologically women's energy versus discipline, it's really about understanding that January is a threshold. It's an invitation of where can we meet ourselves in devotion to our bodies, into our self-care. And again, if we utilize the word discipline versus devotion, you're going to find that that January push begins to break. And so when we talk about, again, discipline being a masculine strategy, a lot of us have associated our value and our worth to that strategy. So let's say one day I sleep in because I'm extremely tired. We automatically shame ourselves because we didn't follow through with the very thing that we said we were going to do. So this is where we even see so many women associating the way that they show up. If it's not in a specific discipline, we automatically associate it to our self-worth. When the reality of it is that when we override our attunement to our body's needs on a daily basis, and we focus on that discipline, that masculine strategy, again, we also by February end up burning out. And so when we talk about how can we go into the new year with a bigger capacity versus less stress? Well, let's talk about two examples that I mentioned in this week's blog. Is number one, again, let's say that you are a woman who decides to eat cleaner. You're going to cut sugar. You're going to exercise more. You're going to be better at everything and all of your habits. And on paper, everything looks great, right? But emotionally, you're noticing that you're irritable, you're overwhelmed, you're disconnected from your body, and your nervous system is processing too much change too fast. And instead of building capacity, you stack on more stress, and this ultimately leads to where you actually just tap out. So when we talk about capacity and building a bigger nervous system, it's basically ultimately titrating your system to support you on any given day. Again, being an ex-mindset coach, I was like, oh, just show up and do the thing, right? Write the goals. And all the while, I was bypassing my body, my feminine wisdom. So when we talk about stress versus capacity, our language, the things that we say we're going to do, but more importantly, really checking in with where we are on any given day and asking ourselves, do I have capacity for this? And if I were to only choose one thing today to build a little bit bigger capacity, maybe what would that one thing be instead of it being 5 different things? Because again, I know so many women that jump into the new year saying, I'm going to do all of these things and I'm going to do it now. And then again, back to that masculine discipline and that old outdated survival strategy, we end up burning ourselves out. And so coming into rhythm, and what does it mean to be in rhythm and feminine devotion to that rhythm? Well, rhythm honors the body when it comes to our inner seasons, when it comes to the seasons outside. Rhythm is how the natural essence, how we actually want to be in the world. And when a woman learns to care for themselves in this way, around your mind, around your body, around your soul, you really start to truly build a bigger capacity in every area of your life, because you are no longer shaming and or shitting on yourselves. You're no longer looking at a linear way of doing in the world, and you start to shift your energy and, more importantly, your perception. And you see, devotion doesn't ask, how do I force myself to stay on track? It actually starts to ask us, what does my mind, body, and soul need right now? And how can I meet that need? Notice the language in that. And this is ultimately why I created the 21-day epic self-care challenge, is because each week over 21 days, the first 7's mind, the second 7's body, the last 7 is soul. We dive into ultimately, how can you get curious of what it is that your mind might need on any given day? How can I regulate my body and build a bigger capacity and move my body in a way that actually feels good, not necessarily what someone on social media tells me to fucking do? So again, when we talk about devotion being the way and discipline is the masculine force, January needs a new pace. It needs less pressure and it needs more presence. If you are interested in joining the 21-day epic self-care challenge, like this post. The link will be in the comments. Check out this week's blog. I hope to see you here more live on my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be back live and doing more Awakening the Feminine podcasts and so much more. Thank you so much for joining, and enjoy again this week's blog.